there are really a lot of opportunities to demonstrate our faith and to support life. Dr. Pat Castle understands a little bit more than the average Joe when it comes to life. And the reason is because you have a degree that you got it the hard way. You earned it.
Well, I spent a lot of time thinking about where does life begin. I spent a lot of time looking at the level where life begins because my background is in nano-analytical chemistry, which essentially means I did a lot of work at the atomic level.
You know, it sounds to me like something like from the Mork and Mindy show when
Right.
you say nano what?
Well, I hear you, and it just means really small things. So, for example, if you were to take a hair from your head, Gordon, and slice it 10,000 times the long way, that's where my PhD work was at. I could see by way of using electrons that allow you to see at levels much smaller, the nano level versus the micro level, which light allows us. Long and short of it, yes, I've done a lot of thinking about where life begins.
And you have spent a lot of time in research that would lead any reasonable thinking person to the conclusion that life just didn't happen by accident.
Oh, for sure. So first of all, it's a fact. Life begins at conception. This is not an argument. It's a scientific fact that when a sperm and an egg unite, there's a full human genome. All that differs between us at that moment, that zygote, that first human cell, really, if you had a microscope image of that, that'd be your first baby picture.
You know, I want to just say that I think you're wrong.
Oh, okay.
And let me tell you
All right,
why.
let's hear.
I don't think life begins at conception, Pat.
It begins even before.
Yes, because
we know
Jeremiah,
that God knew us even before we were in our
Yes.
mother's womb.
Yes.
So real life, eternal life, the substance of life, well said,
Yes.
agreed. And that just even anchors it even more about life begins.
But practically speaking,
When the moment, the soul in conception, we become who we are, it's all there. And so, you're right. What comes put at odds is this notion of someone saying that if you understand science, you can't understand God. And of course, that is just ludicrous because it's God's science. It's all His stuff. So how are we putting these two things at odds? But our culture has done it. They've put it at odds. They've done it by way of evolution. They've tried to say that, oh, if we evolved from different kinds of species to new species, then obviously the Bible's a lie. And you know, that's just not true.
well, that's right. And if you diminish the reality of intelligent design, then what you do, it gives you permission to become God.
It gives you,
Because
that's right.
then it's not really there's no consequence to taking a life.
And that's how scientists lose their faith. They go from going, wow, look what God did, to, wow, look what I did. So your statement is spot on. I've seen it from being in the science community for the last 20 years. So how does this affect pro-life? How does this affect the statement of life? How does it affect us putting our pro-life faith in action? Well, I'll tell you, it affects everything, because if you don't see humanity with design special from God, regardless of evolution or not evolution, here we are. And if you don't see that we are designed in the image and likeness of God, guess what? Suddenly you have a scenario where your family dog and your neighbor are drowning in a swimming pool, and this is actually a moral dilemma to you, whether to save the dog or the neighbor. Not seeing that, you know, humanity is special, and God has, you know, ordained in a very special way a plan, a salvation plan for eternity for us.
But someone might say, but you don't know my neighbor.
Right. And then I would say, well, hopefully you can look at creation and see that it's enough. God's fingerprints are all over creation. You can see the awesomeness of the Creator in the created. And so here we are. We got to put our pro-life truth, all that we just been saying, that life is from conception to natural death. If we believe that, then let's put it in action, either by way of Life Runners, where you put on a Remember the Unborn shirt and wear it to the grocery store, or a 5K or half or full marathon, or get out and volunteer at a CareNet or a Heartbeat International or an Alpha Center or a Pregnancy Resource Center, to be able to help out and live out our faith. That
Life indeed is precious.
Precious and worth
And
defending.
God is the creator of life. We, as His children, should at the very least be defenders of
Amen.
life. Thanks for tuning in today.